signed a 3-year, $100 million deal to stay with the Timberwolves, sources told ESPN. The T-Wolves went 44-25 with Randall and 5-8 without Randall this past season. Sources also telling ESPN that James Harden is declining his $36.3 million player option and intends to re-sign with the Clippers on a 2-year, $81.5 million contract. Harden made All-NBA last season, his first selection since 2019-2020. And Bobby Portis intends to sign a 3-year, $44 million contract to return to the Bucks. According to sources, Portis has played 5 seasons with Milwaukee and won the 2021 NBA title. Perk and Wendy back with us. So, Wendy, do you believe that Milwaukee will be able to do enough to keep Giannis?
I understand why you're framing the question that way, but I'm not sure that Giannis sees it the way you're framing it. So what I mean is, if you're asking me, do I think the Bucks can put a team together that compete to win the Eastern Conference? I do not. And that's not an insult to anybody with the Bucks. That is just the reality of where they are after competing for the East for 7 years. I do not think they have what it takes. And I also question, after humongous losses the last few years, I question whether the Bucks are going to even enter the luxury tax world this year. I look at the Eastern Conference, and yes, there have been bad injuries in Boston and Indiana, but I see Orlando and Atlanta rising up. I don't see the Bucks as a top 4 team. The question really is, does Giannis feel that that is enough to make him want to make a change? Because while there's been lots of speculation that this will happen, and there's been, reporting that he is taking a more critical eye, Giannis is yet to say anything. And guys, the draft came and went, no comment from Giannis. Free agency is here, no comment from Giannis. So if Giannis isn't holding them to the standard of have a championship team for the draft and through free agency, then why would I expect his position to change in the middle of July or the middle of August?
Burke, have they done enough to keep Giannis?
I believe they will do enough to keep Giannis. I mean, and history tells us that, right? Like every single offseason, the Bucks are making moves. That's why Damian Lillard is in Milwaukee, because they have done every single thing in their power every single offseason to make Giannis stay in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I actually go out and try to give Russell Westbrook for right now. Right? Russell Westbrook, I know he's a guy that get criticized a lot, but the one thing about Russell Westbrook, he will bring some life to Giannis, bring belief to Giannis. And with the East being wide open, you add a Russell Westbrook to being the starting point guard right now with still a high motor. Had some great moments with Denver last year as a starter and off the bench. When Jamal Murray was out, Russell Westbrook elevated his game to another level. You put him alongside Giannis, 2 guys with high motors that bring a certain type of tenacity. I can see those guys coming in and being, right in the thick of things and holding this team right in the thick of things for us, being in the contention of being in the fight in the Eastern Conference.
No disrespect to Russell Westbrook, but when we are at the Russell Westbrook is the piece you need for a contendership, it's time to move on. We've seen relationships like this. Nobody wants to go. They're treading water. Nobody wants to be the first to break up. It's time for Milwaukee and Giannis to part ways. And that doesn't mean that this has been a bad relationship. They won a championship together. They've got everything they can out of this. But there are no moves out there for Milwaukee to be competitive. Are they going to move picks for Cam Johnson? Are they going to do? People are floating to Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal. That's not going to do anything to get Giannis closer to a championship, in spite of the fact, that the East is just not competitive as it was last year. For both parties, for Milwaukee to maximize what they can out of a Giannis move, they need to do that now. And for Giannis to not waste a year out of his career when he is still a top 3 player in the league, it's best for both of them to just look each other in the eye, do the Peyton Manning treatment, and say, go do a press conference together. I love you. I love this time here. There's no hard feelings. And let's find the best solution for both of us that does not involve us being together anymore.
I would agree with you if the East was loaded, if the Boston Celtics still were the Boston Celtics, if Tyrese Halliburton wasn't injured. I would agree with you, David, but it's not. The East is wide open right now. And Giannis, arguably, one could say, is still the best player in the Eastern Conference. If we want to be real, he came off of another career type season, 30 points, 12 rebounds. So he's going to win you 45 to 50 games alone. All I'm saying is with Giannis Antetokounmpo, all he needs is some type of life or belief. And go and get a guy like Russell Westbrook, that don't hurt the situation. That actually helps the situation. Again, if we're talking about if none of these go ahead.
Let me explain the Bucks situation. They have not even paid for the Drew Holiday trade yet, all of it. They still owe 3 pieces of draft capital. So Drew Holiday's been traded 3 other times. He's been traded to the Trailblazers twice. They haven't even paid what they owe for Dame Lillard yet. They're in Hawk 2 star trades ago. Again, it doesn't mean that the Bucks are bad executives. It doesn't mean that they're bad owners. It doesn't mean that they're bad players. They're just at the end of the line. But that doesn't mean Giannis is going to leave, because we've yet to hear Giannis say that he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. We're assuming that he has to be in a championship contender. He may be fine being on the team that's fighting for 4th or 5th place. I don't know. He hasn't done anything different.
Well, he said himself, he does not win another ring, he will see that, he will be disappointed and he needs another ring. This is not getting you to another ring. This is getting you further away from another ring. Now, Wendy, I'm with you. If Giannis says, I just love Milwaukee, I love this organization, I want to see it through, we can't do anything about that. I can't say anything about that because that's his personal preference. But if the dude is out here actually wanting to win another ring as soon as possible, this has to happen now. Otherwise, he's, really limiting his chance of doing that before his career is over.
Coming up next is LeBron's, of course, Gary Trent Jr. and Kevin Porter. Those players certainly would fit. They do have the money to bring back both players. So this is going to be a gradual process as far as how they go out and continue building the roster. The biggest hole, though, that they have to fill is the point guard position, because your starter, Damian Lillard, is going to be out for an extended period of time. So that is certainly a priority for John Horster, general manager, over the next couple days.
Yeah, the Bucks have to get a point guard. If Brook Lopez leaves, they have to get a center. They've got to add perimeter defense and athleticism. They've got to add shooting. They have a lot of holes to fill if they want to be a good enough team to be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference, which gives you a realistic chance, Roz, of being a team that can make a run in the playoffs, which is what Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to expect. And when you look around the East, even with the Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton injuries, you've got the Cavs, you've got the Knicks, the Orlando Magic go get Desmond Bane. The Hawks have had a great summer. They're a team that's potentially in play for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Brian mentioned earlier, got Kristaps Porzingis. There is a lot of competition for the Bucks to try to get by. But they already were a team that was a first-round and out team last year with Damian Lillard healthy. Now Damian Lillard is not.
Wendy, that's a pretty long list Tim just gave us of stuff the Bucks need to do. How do you see this all playing out, particularly as it pertains to Giannis' future there?
The Bucks do not control their first-round pick for the next 5 years. They can't trade any of them. And so I honestly do not see how the Bucks are going to be a team that at the end of the week we look at and say that's a guaranteed top 4 team. And basically, I think Giannis has sort of let them off the hook to a certain extent. He did not apply pressure this offseason by sort of making it clear that he didn't necessarily want to be there. He has just basically done his regular offseason, gone overseas and been with his family. And the Bucks, who are really strapped from spending and asset perspective, I don't see as much they can do. And a lot of teams that think that they could trade for Giannis have been watching this very